with that, we'll go ahead and kick things off with Lisa. Lisa Behrens with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Super excited to have her here. We think the Army Corps of Engineers is one of the most prominent landscape shaping organizations working anywhere in the world today, and Lisa's been deeply involved in a lot of the stuff we were talking about in that first presentation. So please welcome Lisa.
Yeah, I'll take the one on the end.
We'll take this one. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you so much for having me here. And I hope everyone, I know I'm really hot. But my presentation, they went through a lot of the 3 panels, and I think my presentation kind of kicks off the day well, because it touches on everything that you're going to hear in pretty much all 3 panels when I go through and talk about just the dredging that's gone on in the harbor, as well as beneficial use of that dredge material and where it's gone, and in terms of how we've used it for restoration and remediation and doing a lot of great things in the estuary, as well as making sure that this estuary continues on its track to becoming the world-class harbor estuary. We believe it already is, but we have a lot of things to do yet to keep on going. Now, we've heard about this, really talking today about the change of the landscape and the dredging and where the dredge material has gone and how it's changed things. But one of the big reasons why, of course, dredging occurs is because we are in the busiest port on the East Coast and the third largest in the United States. And so for all of these reasons and these statistics, which make this port the economic engine that it is, and all of the idea that it's serving 35% of the population in the United States, bringing cargo in, and all of the income, personal income, and tax revenues and business income, billions and billions of dollars. And so it's really important among the 280,000 jobs. You're going to see different numbers fluctuating. These are actually the numbers, I believe, from the Port Authority and the New York Shipping Association. And so, this is the primary reason, of course, why dredging has occurred over the years, so that we can accommodate those larger ships. And here are the channels of the New Jersey Harbor that the Corps and the Port Authority have been moving forward with over time. And the Corps of Engineers actually has began deepening in 1876 in the East River, and then continued on with deepening. But naturally, the estuary is about 17 feet, and many other areas shallower, the channels. And we've been deepening 35 miles of the channel in the Harbor Deepening Project, and we maintain 240 miles of channel in our operation and maintenance program. Okay, why do we dredge? I think most of you here know why we dredge, but in order to have those large ships come in and have access to the terminals in the Port District, providing us with, in an economic way, as the Panama Canal is expanded, bringing in cargo so that it can be done in a more cheaper fashion and staying off the roadways, as well as those secondary benefits. Every time we dredge, we are removing contaminated sediments. There's going to be some talks later on contamination issues in the harbor. We are in a highly urbanized area, and so removing that contamination is critical as well as beneficially using the dredge material for beach nourishment and the other restoration activities we're going to talk about. The consequences of not dredging, just to hit this home as to why it is so important. Not only accidents, I love this picture down here, but luckily it's not occurred anywhere in the New York, New Jersey harbor. But I have seen traffic like that, all it would do is increase the roadway truck traffic and increase air impacts, and also raise our prices for all the goods that come in here. It has to go to another port, come in here via road. We're going to be paying a lot more for our goods every day. So, consequences. Okay, and then 3 different types of dredging. We've got new work and deepening channel, like our harbor deepening project, the O&M maintenance that goes on every year, as well as environmental dredging that really is the job of the United States EPA and the states to basically reduce contamination, such as what's going on in the Hudson River or what will be going on in the Passaic River and Gowanus Canal someday. So those things cleaning up our estuary. And then there's lots of different types of equipment based on the type of material that you're going to dredge. Whether it is contaminated material, you're going to use an environmental clamshell, use a clamshell mechanical dredge, you're going to use a cutter head, you got to cut through some hard rock. Drilling boats, we're right now drilling and blasting in the Arthur Kill and the lower part of Newark Bay. Right now, Kill Van Cult, a lot of shallow rock. In order to get that out, we've had to drill and blast. So we're actually sending down explosives, blasting and drilling, as well as the backhoe dredge. So there's lots of, depending on the types of material. Here is a construction contracts that we've done. Harbor deepening was just a monumental effort with respect to the number of contracts over the years since 2004. But we had 18 dredging contracts for these channels, and you can see what the status of them are. We've completed, we're almost done. Early 2014, we're going to be completed with the 50-foot deepening project. Right now, if you're going out on the boat tomorrow, we're going to see Ambrose dredging, Ambrose Channel, and we're actually hydraulically dredging and utilizing that sand for some of the great projects that we're going to go out and see in Jamaica Bay, where we'll be pumping sand. As well as if you have gotten over to the New Jersey side of the house, I was mentioning the drilling and blasting. And we have some of you here that are actually the dredgers that are out there dredging for these contracts, and those should be done in a few months as well. So this pathway, what's really important is we've made a commitment to the Port Authority and the terminals on the New Jersey side that we are going to have a 50-foot pathway to Port Newark and Elizabeth by the end of this year, and we're going to make that schedule. So it's really important. And then once we're done, the big question, I mean, we've been really lucky with a lot of funding. Thank you to any congressionals who, I don't know if this video will ever get to them, but you know, we've been very blessed with the amount of funds that have come into our region. And this project was expected to be $1.6 billion to dredge, to do the harbor deepening project. And be coming under budget, it's going to cost a lot less. But sadly, you know, as you were talking about, you know, the ongoing, you know, suspension and migration of those solids of soil going into the harbor, we still have to maintain those channels, and we fill in, and we have to periodically dredge. And so there's actually a large amount of dredging that's going to have to take place in the future. And so that is a really big issue. We're still trying to tackle placement sites and being able to handle it in an economic way to really reduce the cost of that, you know, of using that dredge material. Because if it can't go out to the ocean, then we have to have higher price costs to manage. And so overall, all different kinds of material, and based on that material, you know, not only what kind of dredges you have to use, but where it can go. So if it's rock, it goes out to build reefs off the coast. If it's harsh suitable, we can do a lot of great things with it. Not only go and cap the old mud dump site, the historic or the remediation site, but use it for our restoration projects, use it for all sorts of habitat restoration and other opportunities. And then the hard unsuitable, the standard stuff we do with a lot of the material here is bring it upland, cap landfills, brownfields. We've had a lot of success in the state of New Jersey. Commend a lot of people for working on that, for pushing dredge material, beneficial use back in the day to shut down and cut off some landfills and brownfield sites. But solidification stabilization is the process that we use. But to get an idea of the quantities of the volumes that we're talking about, so 42 million cubic yards of dredge material just for the 50-foot deepening project. Okay, so that would fill Central Park to a depth of 31 feet. 3 buildings the size of Empire State Building each year for 10 years, so 30 Empire State Buildings. Or, you know, a football stadium to a height of almost 5 feet, or almost the height of Mount Everest. So, I mean, the quantity of this dredge material is so incredible that we've had to manage and deal with. And, of course, very challenging if it can't go to the ocean to manage. But, as I said, very successful with respect to upland placement of dredge material. We've got some, well, more than 13 million of the non-harsh material has been gone to cap landfills. I calculated about 27 total are on the list, and that includes landfills that we have capped, that are permitted, and on our list of placement sites over time. And so if anybody's familiar with the old OENJ Cherokee Bayonne landfill was capped. That's the Bayonne Golf Club. So 4 million cubic yards of material, of dredge material was placed on that golf club. Now, if you're lucky enough to be a member of that golf club, and very, very lucky because it's very expensive to play. So, Bill Clinton is a member. But it's really breathtaking to see the use of this material. New Jersey Garden Mall, anybody who's shopping there, it's underneath the parking lot. So, a lot of great success stories, especially recently we brought material to Lincoln Park, capped that landfill, working with NOAA and New Jersey DP and Hudson County. And so that was a good use of ARA funds that came our way, the president. As well as closing the Newark Bay Confined Disposal Facility, which was open for many years, and as a placement site for our material, capping that just back in February. So here's just, most of the time we're mixing the material with cement and fly ash and capping those landfills. We've decontaminated the material, biogenesis, sediment washing, thermal destruction. We're going to advance that. That is a picture of the sidewalks and lawn at Montclair State University. We placed it there. Doug is going to talk about the historic area remediation site. More than 56 million cubic yards scour volume has been placed there. And now we're Jamaica Bay. I'm going to breeze through these because you're going to see these tomorrow. We saw this with wetland loss over time. And when you're talking about a projected 44 acres a year of loss, we really need to stop that. So we have been very proactive over the last, since 2006, so for the last 5 or 6 years, in placing over 1 million yards. So at about 5 marsh islands so far. But we have beautiful marsh islands that we're going to get to see, Elders East in various stages, east and west, and constructing these marsh islands, just hydraulically pumping and regrading and then planting these, and really having a lot of success with creating a lot of acreage in Jamaica Bay, as well as next month we're about to stabilize the shoreline for anybody who drives the Belt Parkway every day and sees that, the car and there's the ocean. And so I think it's really important that we beneficially use the dredge material as often as we possibly can. And then I just want to say that all of this is a component of restoration, the restoration program, and this is more opportunities in Jamaica Bay that we're moving forward. But if you're looking, I brought a few of these comprehensive restoration plans for the Hudson River and Estuary. And one of the great things, we are updating this, and it's going to be out again soon, but it's a great resource that talks about the plan and the restoration opportunities in the harbor and beneficial use of dredge material and how we marry our navigation program and do this and restore the estuary is in there. And so, it's the whole entire estuary. We're going to focus on Jamaica Bay, but it's all of these targets. So we're getting to see that we're using marsh restoration, or we're creating marshes and wetlands from dredge material, but we also can use the rock for oyster reefs and create all these other targets. I just wanted to, and I know if Debbie Mann's here yet, she's going to be talking about the oyster reef program, but that is another way to use rock and construct. But anyway, I'm running out of time. Probably went over. One of the key things that we would say is our program. We have 3 minutes. Wow. You realize I was talking so fast because you were like 5 minutes before. So, one of the key things, there's so many different programs that everyone's working on, but really we have this vision for the world-class harbor estuary, and it is a coordinated, the concentric circles that basically they totally overlap. We really need to basically try to make them as coordinated as possible, but it's really navigation, the economic side of the house, port improvements, as well as balancing that with the environmental improvements and all of the environmental restoration programs, as well as advancing from a mitigation perspective and just looking at new, interesting ways to leverage our programs, leverage our funds, given the situation that we are in today, economic-wise, in order to advance these projects, as well as dealing with port safety and storm damage protection and flood risk management. All those things really need to be coordinated and and orchestrate to synergize and maximize our benefits. So I guess with that, I think that I am done. You know, thank you very much for your attention. I guess we have like 1 minute for questions.
We're actually going to do a panel afterward, so there are going to be so many questions in the panel.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you, Lisa.